Hello, welcome to the first edition of the new String Break podcast, offered by me, Roger Sutherland of Three Alarm Guitar. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I want to just talk about some projects, what I may have on the bench here, what I'm working on, some products that I carry here in the shop, and just kind of nerd out like we typically do on guitar related podcasts. I'll try not to say a lot, but I do. So just bear with me while I get this started. It'll be a kind of like a growing process. So, like I said, I want to do this podcast, talk about guitars, talk about projects, talk about products. Like we'll talk a little bit today about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and how disappointed I was with some of what I saw going on in the guitar industry and the guitar world. Figured there would be better sales out there. Keep seeing me look over there. I'm looking at my list. So again, this is going to be called String Break podcast. I'll try to do it maybe every other day, a few times a week. Just pop in around lunchtime. Today I tried to pop in at lunchtime, but I had a customer here, so wasn't able to do it. So do the best I can. It'd just be a cool little hangout. Maybe more know about it in the future. As some of you may know, I already do a podcast with Alex Books of Immolation. He and I have a show called The Guitar Gear Locker. We will continue to do that on Thursday nights. We do that live at 9:30. Again, it's called The Guitar Gear Locker. We talk a little bit about music, death metal. Of course, he's in Immolation, so heavy death metal background. Talk a lot about guitars, just general guitar nerd stuff. The other thing I want to talk about is products that I like. That typically we do that on the Guitar Gear Locker also, but I want to talk about things that I see and hear, things that I sell, things that I would like to sell. Speaking of which, I'd like to talk this week. So we have the new Ernie Ball USB-C batteries. So I like these a lot. I started carrying these recently. I think Ernie Balls really thought these out well. It doesn't come with one battery, it comes with two. So you can keep them charged. It has a double charger with it, plugs in right into a USB connector. So pretty much universal. You can charge them anywhere nowadays. And then it has a case with two in it and the charger, as you can see. So we can throw that right in our case, put one in the guitar. When that one runs dead, you have the backup in your guitar. So I think it's well thought out. Ernie Ball is very conscious about, being earth friendly and disposable batteries, the overabundance of disposable batteries. So I think they've entered the world of the rechargeable. I like the idea. Fishman, as you know, if you watch my other show, I'm a Fishman dealer. Fishman has already entered that. I would like to see them go to a USB-C connector to be more universal. And I'm sure they will in the future. But yeah, it's a good product. They're about $30, so you get a lot of life out of it, especially if you play a lot and if you're on active systems. So again, that's one of my favorites right now. I'll talk about. I have more in the next show that I'll talk about. More products, that is. So let's move on to Black Friday. I can remember years ago, I used to really look forward to the Sunday night before Black Friday. And I'm just south of DC. So our local Guitar Center here, and maybe all Guitar Centers did this, I don't know, but they would send you out a special invitation every year for the pre-Black Friday deals. And it was something that you felt like you were part of an exclusive group because not everybody got this pass in the mail. I would love to get it. Couldn't wait till it came to the mailbox every year. Which essentially, to be honest, it just meant you spent too much money at Guitar Center the year before. So they were inviting you to this, and I would take my daughter. And just to set the background, it was Sunday night, the Sunday night before Black Friday, which, as we all know, is on the Friday after Thanksgiving. So they would close the store. So it was after closing hours. They would have refreshments. They would have like a meat platter and snacks, waters and sodas and things like that. And they would invite customers that I guess had, you know, like I said, probably spent too much money, but that they knew were regulars at the store. And you could go in the store after hours and play all the guitars. It wasn't like a typical day at Guitar Center. And I would take my daughter down there every year, look forward to it. She plays guitar. So it'd be like a father and daughter trip. We'd go down there and play all the guitars and probably eventually end up buying something, let's face it. But it was a really cool little vibe that they had going on there. And I think COVID ended that. I haven't seen it since COVID. I think that's something that they should bring back. I really, really look forward to it. It was a cool little vibe they had. But we don't see that nowadays. And the other thing I used to look forward to is the Black Friday deals. And this year there were, now it seems like since I have a repair shop, most of my deals that I look for and that I wait for are related to tools or something like that. I'll talk about what I bought. I don't rule out buying a guitar though, but there just seems like there's too many good deals on the secondhand market right now. But this year I intentionally waited. There were a couple things, I'll talk about those in a minute, that I wanted to upgrade, and it just didn't seem like the deals were out there. There were a few, not really anything that caught my eye. But so, kind of a disappointment in my mind. And, I hear other podcasters talking about, that there's a lot of good deals going on right now with, surplus or some of the items out there because they're trying to blow them all out so they can come back more expensive. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but I'm probably also not the guy that would know if they were doing that. So, so I'll just show a couple of the things that I found. Like I said, mine are going to be mostly related to guitar repairs. Let me kick a share on here. So we will do the first one, which is StewMac, I love StewMac. They have a lot of good products. Usually, they're pretty expensive. But this one here, and I know a lot of people on a lot of podcasts have talked about this StewMac tool set. I like it. This is something, if you have to go, like I behind me, I have pretty much every tool known to man to do a setup on a guitar. But, there's times where people ask me to come out, they'll be doing a performance or you have to go out and you're not in your shop and you need a little throwdown toolkit. This pretty much has everything. I know Music Nomad has one also. The good thing about this is they had this marked off 50% to $26.50. So I didn't necessarily need one, but I mean, we don't usually buy things that we need, right? So you don't always buy things you need. So this was something I thought it would be good to have. I have the Music Nomad version, but at $26.50, I just thought that was a steal. So that is one. Let me share my screen again. And again, StreamYard, I know I complain on our other podcast how much I hate the screen sharing on this. So let's try it again. And I'm going to share the next thing. And again, this is only going to be, I'm not going to do a 2-hour podcast in here. It's going to be something I do pretty quick. It's going to be 20, 30 minutes maybe every day. All right. So the next thing, didn't necessarily need one of these. But again, I mean, if you're doing repairs on guitars, and I have to look over here to make sure I have it. So there's one, there's an orange aluminum one that I actually like a little bit better than this one, but StewMac, I mean, it's a run-of-the-mill front rocker. I saw it 25-24, so they had it marked down enough where I feel like this would be a steal. It's actually more expensive than the one that I typically use, so I went ahead and picked one of these up. So, yeah, again, that's a pretty good deal, I thought anyways. So, and then I'll move on to the next. And I think these deals, probably should have done this on Black Friday, but there's enough people out there. I'm just showing you what I got. There's enough people out there that talked about these that you would have known if you were looking. Um, let's see. We're gonna share again. I didn't get too much this year. So this was one thing that I was waiting for, Black Friday. This isn't a bad deal. I do have a soldering iron. I don't know if you can see it back. That actually is for soldering. So that would be my a smoke evacuation system for the solder. Right below it is a Weller machine. Weller makes great machines. This one here, that was a good deal, I thought. Normally $152.99. They had it marked down to $114. I picked that out. That's actually already arrived. I haven't broken it out of the box, but can't wait to use that. I find I do a ton of soldering. So, maybe having another soldering, and this here is better than the one I have. The one I have is actually, you can see it right there. It's a Weller. It's good. It serves its purpose. This one, the new one that I bought, as you could see, you can control the temperature, or you can gauge it up, you can gauge it down. It also has a safety feature where, if you have to walk away from it after a certain amount of time, it'll turn off. So kind of psyched about that. Not very eventful. I know, not very exciting if you're looking at getting guitars. So the last thing I got was, and this was at Guitar Center. I was looking for just a set of these so I don't have to. I use head rushes, basically floor monitors now when I hook into my Fractal system. So I thought it would be good. Plus, messing around with some studio software and things like that. So I thought it would be good, and this was a great deal. I got a set of these. Hooked them up last night. Pretty happy with them so far. I'm going to use them more after I finish up this afternoon on guitars. Like them a lot. So I thought that was a good deal. $169 down from $189. Not shabby. I'm sure, like with my luck, I'm sure they'll be $149 next week, because that's the way things go for me. So those are some of the things that I saw that caught my interest. And again, I was kind of waiting around. I looked at Cyber Monday sales. There were a few guitars in there. Nothing that I was really overly impressed with. Nothing to make me. I just think right now for me, there's too much on the used market out there. Too many good deals to go buy something brand new. I know PRS. I'm a big fan of PRS guitars. PRS is having 10 and 20% off. You can get those at your local music shops. You can get them online. Sweetwater had a lot of deals. There was a couple things that caught my eye. I almost bought the cases. They had a great deal on cases. I have enough cases to get by right now, so I didn't really pull the trigger on those. So and I think, like, as far as things in the guitar world, and like I said, I'm south of DC, so I'm in that market. As far as guitar repairs, guitar shop stuff, I mean, if you're interested in looking at me for guitar repairs or upgrades and things like that, right now I'm not backlogged. I can tell you what. So in the DC area, I mean, everything's pretty much run by government workers. We have a lot of government workers here. So when the government was shut down, pretty much shut everything down. There was a lot of people didn't want to come off with a lot of money, and it wasn't time to do guitar upgrades or repairs or things like that. So things got really, really slow. They are starting to pick up this week. But I generally keep a 2-day turnaround. Right now, I'm pretty much next day if you needed it. I have a rule in my shop to where if you're a performing guitar player or performing a band, or students that need their guitars for lessons, I can generally move you to the front and get you knocked out pretty fast. I try not to do same days, and that's a me thing. I know that there are shops that will do same days if they're not that busy, but I like to do the setup on a guitar, and like that one right here, you can't really see it, but the strings are still, I haven't even cut them yet. Great Firebird, by the way. He just picked that up yesterday. So new guitar day. brought it directly in here. We're going to set it up, get it working properly for them, get the action where it needs to be. But where I was going is I like to do the setup, and then I let it set for hours or overnight, preferably, and then I'll readjust it and make sure the neck's where it needs to be, proper relief, string height, and all that kind of stuff, just to let it settle out. Seems to work, but there are occasions where people need their stuff done ASAP, and I try to accommodate that. But right now, things are starting to pick up again. I have like I said, this is a really nice Firebird. Have an SG 87 SG that came in yesterday, that the person just picked up also. Great guitar, and a Hamer. Have another Hamer. So we see a lot of Hamers. We see a lot of really nice guitars that come through here. So we're pretty lucky to see some of the things that we see. So again, this is going to be something that, I might sit here some days and just eat my sandwich. Who knows? So it's going to be a lunchtime thing. That's kind of why I don't want to call it lunch break. So string break seemed to be pretty appropriate. So that'll kind of just let you know, especially if you're in this region, and if you use me, your guitar may be on the bench. Maybe you want to know if I'm behind on your guitar or not. You can't always judge it. So I do have Facebook, Instagram, and all that. Sometimes you can't judge. I time those things out when I'm posting on Instagram and Facebook. So I'm not always sitting there posting it. So sometimes people see me post a lot and think I'm super busy, where it's exactly opposite. So, yeah, I appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to share this out. I'll probably do some shorts on it because I just actually Black Friday, I bought Opus Clip also. I'm going to use that for the Guitar Gear Locker and for the Spring Break podcast. So you'll be seeing my face if you see shorts come up on your feed. So yeah, I'll do this, and I'll probably share it over on TikTok. So if you don't mind, give me a like and a follow, and I'll just jump in here, and either I'll entertain you or bore you, one or the other. If I bore you, you won't subscribe. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. This is episode 1 of the String Break, and like and follow. Thanks. Peace out.